Welcome back. I'm Robert Ridpath, and this is Practice Growth Marketing Strategies, where we're teaching doctors how to really grow their practice, their business, and their income. Now, this video is on quality content. You see, this is really important because you want to add value to your products, your services, and your programs, and so you want to make sure you have quality content. And there are 4 primary ingredients that you need to look at when you're doing this. So, number 1 thing you can look at, and this is really important, well here, I'll just expose it for you. It really is, make sure your content is relevant. You would not believe how many times or how many clinics I go to, and people are putting out great material, but it's not really relevant to what their clients are. It's not a good match. So you want to make sure the material's relevant. And what do I mean by that? You want to make sure the material you put out, or the programs, the products you have, are a good solution to what people's fears are. You want to make sure it looks after their worries, their concerns, their anxieties, and it deals with their wants and desires, right? So that's when you have a good match, when people are looking for something and your solution, your value, really matches up and links up really nicely. So you want to make sure your information is relevant. Number 2 thing that you can look at, very important, make sure it's involving. Now, what do I mean by that? It's a funny thing about the human mind, and I really enjoy learning how people learn and so on, because it helps me help you, and that's going to help you help your clients and patients, and we're going to make a bigger difference in the community, right? So you want to make sure your information is involving. What's that? You want to get people to take action steps. You want to give them homework, and you want to give them exercises. And I know that sounds crazy, and you're thinking, Robert, man, my patients are so overwhelmed, they're so busy, they're so stressed. Fair enough. But it's really interesting to note that when you get them to do things, when they're evaluated to reflect back on you as a clinician, they rate doctors better the more that doctors get them engaged. So we want to get them involved. We want to give them exercises, homework, things to read, chapters, a video to watch, something like that. That's going to get them involved. That's going to just have them rate you as a better clinician. Increase word of mouth, increase value, and so on. Number 3 that we can look at, you want to make sure your information is fascinating. What do I mean by that? You want to make sure your information is interesting, you want to make sure it's insightful, and you want to make sure your information and your take on it, maybe it's a whole new way of looking at it. People, for example, osteoporosis. People aren't aware that osteoporosis is actually not necessarily a lack of calcium, but it's an inflammatory condition. Whoa! Tell me more about that. Another example could be Alzheimer's is now being called type 3 diabetes. What do you mean by that? You see, that really is fascinating. It gets their attention, and you can explain to them how this all unfolds. And maybe at your clinic you really focus on glycemic index and exercise to balance blood sugar. Could be hugely important, right? So the last aspect we want to look at, and I know this seems really basic, but a lot of people forget about this. And actually, it's good to put out high quality content, but you also want to attract new people and keep them engaged. And one thing that's really important, you want to make sure your information is current. So things like new research, new findings, new discoveries just happened, hot off the press. Look at TV news stations. Look at the newspaper. What are they doing to grab your attention? You don't want to know about something that happened 1 or 2 weeks ago, God forbid, yesterday. Everybody's looking for current. What's new? What's hot? What just happened? So that's what you can do. You can go to PubMed, for example, and get some current papers that just came out on sarcopenia, diabetes, macular degeneration, if you're looking at eye issues, new findings on and new research on mechanics of shoulder or joint or neck issues. You see, that's what people like. And again, it reflects back on you as the trusted authority and the expert. And that's part of what this whole thing is about. So, to add value to your products, services, and programs, you want to put out high quality content. So you want to make sure your information is relevant, you want to make sure it's involving, you want to make sure it's really fascinating, and you want to make sure it's current. I'm Robert Ridpath. I hope this video has served you well, and I look forward to seeing you in other videos.